Beloved Miracles coming to you again today with couple Laura and Coy. They are 26 and 22 trip around the sun entrepreneurs. Coy has a master's in biomedical engineering and is a science teacher and communicator. Laura is a Chinese medicine student and infant yoga instructor. Their projects are empowered by a system. Laura and Coy, where does your story as a couple building together using a system begin?
Well, where do you want to start?
It probably begins 6 years ago, actually.
Yeah, around six years ago.
When we first met.
Go for it.
You can go for it.
Well, because basically how we met, we met 7 years ago, actually.
Yeah, when
exactly 7.
When your sister started dating my best friend. And
so yeah, basically his best friend, Alex, started dating my sister, Bia, which you have interviewed in the past. And so we had started hanging out more because we're all part of the same group of friends and everything. And he started hanging out at the house more. Then he became part of the furniture because he was always around. And that's how we met. And we started dating
about a year ago.
Yeah, almost a year ago. But before that, we always been a part of this entrepreneurial culture. My family's mostly, and that's pretty much where our story begins, from a friendship. That I think that's the best way to go. Really, the best way to start anything is from a friendship and from connections with people. And so even before we started dating, he was already in tune with all this entrepreneurship ideas and all these little things that most people aren't really, or right now is trying to flip their consciousness about. And you want to tell your part of the story, and then we'll blend it in with mine?
Well, it was mostly at a certain point we just noticed each other and started dating, and well, that brought about change in each other's lives. And one of the changes was in my part, I thought I didn't want a regular job with a regular paycheck and having to actually do what other people wanted me to do. And instead, I wanted to do my own thing and start my own business and be free of all these constraints. So I thought a little bit about what I wanted to do, and I saw a problem with science communication, because most scientists are terrible communicators, in case you don't know. And so I thought this was an issue that had to be addressed as fast as possible. Some institutions already do this, but they're just starting to use the internet now. So I decided that social media were a good place to start for people to actually have a better understanding of the basic science around us. So in about April last year, I started this project, which is Blog Mestre Coy, where I speak to the Portuguese population as a general thing, so that they know a little bit better about science, and they get interested and they fund it. So I don't know, it's starting.
It's also great because most people, basic science is always a good thing to know, regardless of what your field is, because it's part of the world that surrounds us. And being explained in our own native language, because most of the things we follow is only in English.
In English, mostly, yes.
And not everyone speaks English in Portugal. Most of them do, but not all of them. And everyone needs to have access to this kind of information, because not everyone studies science in school. It depends on your field of study that you choose in high school and whatever's. So, his project came to, let's say, fill this gap that existed. And at the same time, it's cute because we're working together in the system, but at the same time doing different things.
Yeah.
Because he's doing the science project, and I'm doing the alternative healthcare, the Chinese medicine, the yoga project. Because I'm a yoga instructor. I teach baby yoga and children yoga from ages 3 to 11. And I'm also in university studying Chinese medicine. So healthcare is my field. It's my deal. And my problem with my field is, okay, there's all this hocus pocus. There's no scientific facts about this that can prove that, for example, acupuncture works. And by the way, there are plenty of studies that shows that it works. But the thing is, with my field, the alternative medicines, people in that field that were very spiritual, they're really consciously connected, but they lack the grounding. And the scientific part is very important too, because biology is where everything works, and the material level. We work a lot on the energetic level instead of a material level, and when the ideal is having both of them working together. So he's working on his part of the project. I'm working on my own. We're our own individual projects, but as a couple, we're actually able to work them out together and actually complement each other.
Yeah. So
on our respective fields.
So we try to connect the science part with the alternative medicine thing. Although we're doing separate things, we still come together in this point. So we help each other, each other's things grow.
Exactly. So I feed him with the more spiritual part, the energetic part of science that also has, and he feeds me with material about the most grounding stuff, the most material one, the one we can actually see, and all the mechanisms that we need to know how they work for us to understand why some things happen. So some people think working together as a couple, we need to do exactly the same thing. That's not necessarily true.
You still support each other, just
exactly.
in a different way.
Exactly. We're both, the most important thing is being passionate about what you do.
Yeah.
And the best thing about being in a relationship is that you're never alone. So you always have this constant source of support and communication, key communication. That's basically the most important thing that I find.
Yes.
In our relationship, that's what's been working the best, is being completely 100% open and expressive about what you want to do. So, because you can't follow your passion in your life if your partner doesn't even know about it. How can he support you if you don't tell him about it or show him, right? Because some people, they're not very verbal, they show in other ways, right?
Yes. But at least we need to be able to interpret each other's things.
Exactly. You all need to be on the same page. And love, support, and communication. I think it's pretty much the key here.
Yep.
So you can be doing your own thing, and your partner be doing their own thing, and still be working together. Because 99.9% of the time, you can actually help each other out.
Yep, that's true.
So if yoga and science work out, or Chinese medicine and physics work out, which actually does.
I know.
I think pretty much anything works.
So many in the world would see these very polarized, as almost oil and water trying to mix, but you guys have found a way to blend it. I mean, I get this infinity symbol flow as I'm watching you and listening to you. Was it just inherently and naturally a smooth flow, or were there some bumps and obstacles that you guys had to iron out so it wasn't so polarized?
In the beginning, it was a little bit harder.
In the beginning, it was a little bit harder. Yes, I was more closed, for instance, in terms of I was more strictly scientific, less spiritual. So that was a little bump in the beginning. But well, as long as I find some kind of evidence or reasons to believe in something else. Well, why not, right?
Yeah.
So
with him,
I found facts that actually lead me to believe that this is this needs to be and it's an issue that needs to be addressed, and so we address it by each other.
Yeah, and
we both address it.
Yeah, and it's funny because even today, my mom makes fun of him because it's like, oh, there's not a scientific study about it, that it can't be true. Even today, she still makes that joke because with him, it's really hard because if it's something that you can't see, oh, there's not a scientific study about it, then it probably doesn't exist.
Got it.
And working with someone in Chinese medicine, when most of it you can't see, it's exactly the other way around. When you can see something, it's a very bad sign.
Yeah.
When something actually manifests in the body, it's already usually a pretty bad sign. This little communication, we just had to learn from each other that not everything's spiritual and not everything's material.
Yeah.
And there's this dynamic. I came from sciences too. I studied sciences in high school, so I understood his point of view as well. And I understand the value of scientific investigation. I want to go into scientific investigation, so in my own field. So the part of the investigation, the scientifically proven things, the seeing how things actually work, I think that's very important. Also, not just for knowledge, but also for validation. especially in my field, that we're craving for validation in Portugal, especially.
Yeah.
We're just craving validation from scientific community because no one paid attention to us. It's very annoying. And the science really helps us with that because
gives it credibility.
Yeah, it gives more credit. That's the word. Yeah, it's that's needed. So that in the beginning was a little bump in the road in terms of our work, really.
Yeah. But it was more a thing of not understanding each other's point of view than anything else.
And we worked it out pretty smoothly. All we really just talked about it, explained our points of view.
We showed each other how things worked and how things could work, and it made sense to each of us. So
yeah, but it took our time. That was the thing. We didn't force anything upon each other. That's the thing that we actually had to keep in our minds. I can't force my point of view on this other person that's next to me.
Yep, and vice versa.
Because or else it won't do anything. It won't work. He would just start blocking straight away as soon as I would start talking about chi, man.
Yeah.
He would just start like.
You'd have to start bringing the needles out, right, Laura?
Yeah, like nope. So it's the point. I think what's important here is communication and mostly sharing, not talking about this works like this, and you need to think like this. In the way in the way I see it, or how I'm studying it, or how I learned. This is how things work. Isn't it awesome? And then we were actually actively looking for effort to look for bridges.
Yeah.
Like that we already know that exist. And between science and Chinese medicine, for example, some diagnosis part of diagnosis done in Chinese medicine, some symptoms that match.
Yeah, with the actual biological
processes that happen that aren't necessarily scientifically studied. But we noticed that they happen in our daily life. So we started doing these little bridges, and we were like, oh, this actually makes sense in both fields. It's not just one or the other. For example, in my field, that's something that I see that like amazing technology, everything that's science, and that's not the way to go, especially if you want to
get the
recognized and validated for your work, because we're living in a scientific society.
Oh.
A really scientific society. So it's and in particular, the most important thing is that you feel appreciated for your own work, and especially if you have a partner that supports you 100%, that's like the best thing in the world. Because you always have this awesome business partner, even though he might not be doing the same thing as you.
And who knows, we might get a research idea so we can actually start a research project.
Which is something that we have kind of planned in our future, since he has all the biological stuff, the scientific part, and I have
the Chinese medicine
part, and I have some scientific background as well.
Yeah, yes.
So we can actually work together in one field only. We can create our own research field.
Yep, that's true.
By joining two apparently polarized things. It's like the yin and yang, right? Instead of being two things that are opposite, they are indeed opposite, but they actually complement each other.
Yep.
So I like, instead of thinking of it as magnets, I like to think about it more as yin and yang, because this like the universe and nature, that's how they work. There's light and there's dark. There's day and there's night. So there's science and there's Chinese medicine. So there's Coy and there's Laura. There's us and him. So
here you are extending it to Norway and Portugal as well, right? We can have all these different scales of looking at this. If we look at the before, focusing on the system that you're implementing, and the after, like a before and after look, what's changed in your life because of implementing this system from the before to the after?
Well,
where to start?
Yeah, a lot of things.
Where to start?
One of the first things was exactly the mindset we were in. Well, I don't know. I feel a lot more open to start new things, to try new things, to actually invest some time and money on things that I wouldn't otherwise. That I would think would be a fail from the beginning, but that's not true, right? It isn't a fail until you tried it.
And not just that, with every apparent failure, there's a learning process.
There's something to learn. So everything you learn is a step forward in your project.
Exactly.
So that's the first thing that changed, and that's the most important one. Other things that changed, well.
Oh my God, just the fact that we don't have to rely on a job to live with our lives.
It's a lot.
That we can have one if you want to.
It's very freeing.
It is freeing, isn't it? That we can have one if we want to. Like, I'm a yoga instructor. I have a job. He's working to applying for grants for scientific research. But if he gets it, awesome. If he doesn't get it, it's okay.
I'm going to keep on doing.
And you keep on doing
anyway.
Yeah, exactly. we can do whatever we want, and not be dependent on one thing only, which it can make everything so much easier. It's so freeing because we're actually, like, I'm 22, he's 26. So we're pretty young. We still have like a lot of years in front of us. And most kids our age, they're more focused in finishing school to go get a job and whatever.
And most of them are actually trying to get a job.
Yeah, and that's okay. The problem in here is if you don't get that job for whatever reason, first of all, doing something that you don't want to do, point one. Doing it just because of the money. And that's usually not a good place to start. Because money is a driving force. It's a very powerful driving force. But
it doesn't make you happy necessarily.
because it's not money that makes you happy, it's what you do with it.
Yep.
So what's the point in doing a job just to get the money if by the end of the day you can't go home and think, I had a good day today. Wow, I actually doing something that I love. There's no money that can pay that. Peace of mind and just the fact that living your own passion, living your own life the way you want to live, there's no job that can pay for that. Unless it's a job you actually want and you actually have a passion about.
Yeah, that's why.
Which you totally can.
That's why I'm still applying for grants.
Exactly, he's still applying for his grants.
Research.
And that's what he wants to do. And that's the thing is having options. Because a lot of kids our age, they're looking at it as a job and think, oh, if I don't get a job in anything, I was gonna say a really bad word, but yeah. I'm screwed. But in our case, that doesn't happen. Because okay, he didn't get that grant. Okay, let's move on to the next one.
It's fine.
It's fine. So
I still have my project. My things are still going. I still have the source of income. So
we're good.
It's a beautiful freedom to have at your age and stage of life, you guys. It's very inspiring. It's not something I had when I was at your generation. My generation had a different journey, and it's very inspiring for me to get to listen and hear that in your generation, I believe, but you also mentioned, right? I should ask you that quick. Most of your generation are not seeing this yet. Did I hear that correctly?
Yep.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Slowly but surely, but yeah, there's a lot to do in this field.
One of the things that works out for our generation is that we're actually open to new technologies, and we actually use them a lot. So that's a point that's already solved. We don't really have to worry about it. The problem is really, in my opinion, is really the mindset.
Yeah.
It's the way people think about things and don't try some things when they sometimes should.
Well said. So there's a question. What advice would you give to other couples building something together?
Respect each other's opinions, or even if you don't agree with them, because everyone's entitled to have their own opinion as individuals. So as a couple, that can't change.
Yep.
Respect the communication over and about each other's ideas. I think that's pretty much the main thing. Mm-hmm. And feel free to be an individual while being in a relationship.
Just talk to each other about both your work and your day-to-day life. It's not just
if you can build
one or the other.
Yeah, and the sharing is what makes it awesome.
Yes.
It's about the sharing of your experience of your daily life and about your own project or whatever you're doing. If it's the same, awesome. You have more to talk about because you have two points of view about the same thing. But if it happens to be different, find the bridges.
Yep.
Because everything has a bridge. You can connect because everything's connected. From whatever field to people, we're all connected in a way. And then you can actually turn into a game. We did that actually a little bit in the beginning. Trying to make it turn into a game, trying to find links between one field and the other. you can actually make your relationship fun. Lots of games and lots of jokes.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what we do. Lots of games and lots of jokes and lots of sharing and lots of love and communication. I think that's pretty much what we have to say about that. Anything you want to add on that one?
No, that was perfect.
There you go.
Oh, you guys wrapped it up really, really nicely, and in such a bubbly, almost champagne-like experience here. I'm just taking another sip and enjoying the example that you guys are. This example that I often refer to as together or not at all.
Indeed.
Yes, that's basically how it goes.
Yeah, because if we weren't together, it wouldn't be half as fun.
Yeah, that's true.
You wouldn't enjoy the ride, and if you're not enjoying the ride, get off. Like, why are you even on the ride to begin with? Yeah, together or not at all. I like that one. That was good.
Thank you. Well, with that, we'll sign off from Norway to you guys in Portugal. Please do keep sharing this shining star example that you guys are to your generation and to those of us who are, 2 or 3 generations out in front of you here, because it's very hopeful. What I'm hearing in you, the awareness that you have of the differences, but not stopping there and finding a way to bring them together and having a system to do that still honors your independence and at the same time can find a larger wholeness is what I'm receiving from all that you guys are putting out.
Yes,
yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
Press on. Definitely support you from here in Norway.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you for inviting us for this interview. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was really cool.
We'll do it again soon, because I have a feeling you guys are just on the cutting edge of what you'll be doing next with your grants and your research and your needles in the Chinese medicine. Good stuff, guys. Really, really good stuff. I think 2017 is going to be a breakthrough year.
Oh, it's going to be an amazing year.
Yeah,
it's going to be amazing. Don't say bad words.
All right, we'll talk again soon. Goodbye for now.
Talk to you soon. Bye, Tim.
Thank you for letting
Thank
me share.
you.